Lonely Attack on the Different World, web novel, chapter 110. I was warned, reminded, and coerced. Day 42, morning, dungeon near the village downstream. What a pleasant morning, and that's because it follows a pleasant night. Yep, it was quite an enjoyable experience. I'm sure this would mark the beginning of an equally nice day. Or so I thought, but it wasn't nice at all. I completely forgot about the dungeon. Well, to be more precise, it was unpleasant, or rather high on the discomfort index. Every bit of the dungeon was damp, wet, and humid. I don't enjoy this kind of wet at all. This dungeon doesn't even have a proper ventilation or drainage system, let alone any countermeasures for humidity. I'd really like to see the face of the dungeon master of this place, though they are probably dead by now. They probably turned into a magic stone already, so there is no face to look at. And since they are a magic stone now, they wouldn't be able to receive any complaints. Damn, the great dungeon was too big to settle there, but it was incredibly well built. And the dungeon master of that place turned out to be really cute as well, with an amazing figure on top of... I'm not thinking anything, all right. Okay, why are you drawing your sword? It's dangerous. Yeah, it might be the right thing to do since we are in a dungeon, but at this moment, all the monsters are nothing but magic stones, so you don't need a sword, right? She just stares at me. Both the floor and the stairs are all slippery from the water covering them, making it hard to walk, and there are no handrails or anything, really. Don't they have the Building Standards Act for the dungeons or something? Yes, this is a dangerous dungeon that has no regard for the safety of invaders, creating an environment with a high risk of accidents from slipping and falling. The dungeon and comfort levels of this place are the worst. That's why you are so unpopular, Dungeon-san. Since you paid no attention to adventurers' safety in your planning, no one wants to adventure here. And, of course, such an unsafe, discomforting, and damp place would also be disliked by the villagers. At least make an effort to build good relationships with your neighbors. What an antisocial dungeon master, son. I kept endlessly grumbling, muttering, as we kept going down the stairs. No reply, huh? We keep picking up magic stones, but they all look kind of cheap. But I'm already out of money, broke to the point of having Prez pay for my lodging from the deposit. Even if they are cheap, I still have to gather them. But at the very least, can we have at least some treasure chests here? Or I'll be in the red after purchasing all of those potatoes? No, I do need potatoes as well, but... After walking through such a damp and humid place, it's a huge loss. So not worth it. But can I at least have something to cover the potatoes' cost? Well, I already made a huge profit from massive rip-off sales of sweet potatoes, but since I already spent it all, I don't have a penny. That's why I was pressed into checking such a damp and wet place, even though I wanted nothing to do with it. And, by the way, I was also warned about doing lewd stuff inside dungeons. Yes, I am being pressured. I mean, that's the type of wet and slippery I'm down for. No, I'm not going to do anything. I didn't do anything. Someday I'd like to try lotion play, though. It's nothing. No, not now. Now, let's go. The stairs are all slippery, so let's sheath the sword, okay? However, what if, with all this humidity, I got rheumatism or arthritis or neuralgia at this young age of 16? I probably would immediately recover from that due to my skills, but I still hate the idea. A young man shouldn't have such diseases. We finally reached the 5th floor, but it's no fun at all. If we were going up, I'd be able to enjoy the view from behind, but since we're going down, it's not fun at all. There is nothing interesting in staring at the top of her helmet. If looking at the top of her helmet felt fun, I think that would be a problem in of itself, but gladly it's not fun at all. Looks like there is something below us, on the 6th floor. What should we do? Should I just collapse the ceiling and crush it?
Impossible! Ghosts?
Armored Prez San told me, shaking her head. Ghosts? Does she mean ghosts? Which means the enemy is incorporeal, so physical attacks won't work on them. I mean, I doubt there are hosts there. The location is way too bad for such business. I can't get into the mood because of this humidity. At this point, I just want to leave it as is and go home. On top of this dungeon being trashed as a real estate property, the treasure chests are trash as well. The hidden room on the 5th floor, for example, had Freeze Sword, Ice Attribute Lesser, Power 10% up, Speed 10% up. The effect is lesser and the bonus is only 10%. I know that the Great Dungeon was just too good, but even so, it is incredibly underwhelming when you compare them. Yet, even this can be sold for a hefty sum. Or rather, it seems that if the item is too good, it becomes hard to sell through ordinary channels, so somewhat dubious items are just right. Yeah, I want good equipment, but I also want money, so this is fine. It's profitable, but even so, it's a dungeon. Won't some "this is the legendary" trope-like development happen? Well, I already have a legendary sword that just popped up out of nowhere, so I don't think I will be surprised by swords. But I want a weapon to come out with a hype appearance scene, clearly pointing to a complicated history behind it. No one will get excited just from, "Oh, there is a holy sword on the ground." Isn't there something like only the chosen one can pull this out? Considering my and Armored Prez San's equipment, I don't think we will ever find better swords or armor, but I'd like something special with skills attached. Ice Attribute is okay, but I don't need lesser. If anything, I'd prefer something to burn enemies, because the geeks powered up. Isn't there something? And the 6th floor had Phantom level 6. No idea how it is different from spirits, specters, or ghosts, but the shape isn't that of a human. I wonder what kind of spirit this is. Armored Prez San switched her weapon from the rapier to a sword, and taking a graceful stance began cutting through the enemies at blindingly fast speed. Can you even cut spirits? Can this be resolved through physical means? And what should I do? Maybe stretch the wooden staff that I'm carrying, about 2 meters in length, gallantly flying through the air, and then... And by the time I thought that, it was already over. Could it be that all I'm going to do is go down the stairs? No chance to do anything else at all? In conclusion, yeah, it seems that's all I'm going to do here. The 7th floor's hidden room had a vestige of a monster in the form of a magic stone, and the treasure chest had Thunder Spear, Lightning Attribute Lesser, Power 10% up, Speed 10% up. A shabby weapon. No, as merchandise it should at least cover the cost of the lewd outfits. I'm sure we will be able to buy a whole lot. The backless dress from yesterday was great, but the dress we saw the other day, with a deep, deep cleavage, so deep in fact that it showed the navel, was also stirring. Well, with a figure that good, even outright lewd clothes look stylish on her. I was under such a deep impression that went too hard at it, and she ended up scolding me in tears. No, I'm a high school boy, and my levels of high sexual vigor and insatiable libido keep growing, so it can't be helped. Oh, 9th floor had another hidden room, and a normal treasure chest in a corridor. The hidden room had spiked mail, defense up lesser, plus attack. I only showed it to Armored Prez San, and she immediately began refusing with all she had. So she is choosing items based on their appearance after all. Well, wearing this would have you mistaken for a villain without a doubt. The entirety of the armor is covered in sinister-looking metal spikes. With this design, would she be safe and secure even in a post-apocalyptic world? But it looks like she doesn't approve. And the chest that was just sitting in the middle of the corridor had earring, decoration, B rank. This is not even an equipment anymore, but let's tribute it to Armored Prez. The earring with a blue jewel will surely match that blue dress with a slit, and it will look fine even if she takes that dress off. All right, tonight is the night for that slit dress. Okay, I'll do my best. I mean, the slit on that dress goes all the way to the upper part of the hips. And the earrings should fit her in general. Despite being so cute and pretty, she spends so much time as a skeleton, unable to dress up, so I think there is no problem at all with having a bit of luxury until she recovers. As we descended, we kept finding somewhat better magic stones, but all of them still seemed like F rank, or rather the range of F rank is so huge that I still can't properly get a grasp on the prices. On top of that, the prices are beginning to fall, so even F10 Plus is only 5 million ere, less than half of the previous price. Previously, the prices were up due to a deficit of magic stones, and on the contrary, now they are trying to stabilize the supply to prevent the price collapse. So, since they won't readily be buying up magic stones, I have to make money from equipment. Sadly, there are no lewd clothes or underwear in dungeons. Or is there? Yeah, if we find any, I will make a temporary resting area.